extra protection for your unit. You gotta have that nowadays. Alright, I'm gonna do an unboxing on some budget camera gear. So this is Neewer, but I've also got some other Neewer stuff. So this is not the first camera accessory or accessories of Neewer that I've tried. I've got a Neewer camera light as well. Of course, I'm not using the camera light right now. I'm using the smartphone so I can show you the camera itself, because these are lenses and a lens cover to fit onto my most recent camera. There's a string there. This is a collapsible lens hood. It's actually rubber, so it pops out like that, and then it pops out again like that, and then it collapses halfway and completely. So it's collapsible. It's like a plunger, a rubber plunger. But it's got three different modes. So that's all the way out for your lens hood to keep UV rays and stuff out of your lens. And then there's halfway in case it's taking up any of your shots on the wide angle. So when you're zoomed out, you don't want to get the corners of your picture cut off. So it collapses halfway, and then it collapses completely as well. It's hard to show you, but there's three different positions there. So that's a lens hood, rubber one. And this here is a 58mm adapter ring. And empty box, and this here. Let's see what's in here. I think these are lens filters. Yeah, that's a lens filter for sure. I think that's a UV filter. I'm gonna use this not for a UV filter, but for a lens protector, just to keep the lens covered in case it ever gets anything spilled on it or scratched or anything like that. And this is another, I think this is a polarized. One of these is polarized, I'm not sure. Maybe they both are, I'm not really sure. But around the edge here, it's labeled around the edge. CPL, this is a CPL filter. Okay. And this is ND4. So I think that's polarized, I'm not sure. They're also labeled as 58mm on the outside. My camera is not a 58mm camera, but the adapter ring is supposed to accommodate the 58 millimeter SX50. That's my camera is SX60, but SX50-58 millimeter. So hopefully that's the one. And the camera that I got, this here Canon, it's a SX60. This is labeled as SX50, but anyway, the camera is SX60 and it's not a DSLR. And it was also a display model, so it was new. It was never registered or anything, but people had their hands on it. It was out of the box. It was a display model. The battery was used. It wasn't even a Canon battery that came with it, and it came with no lens cover, no strap. But I got it dirt cheap. I got it for a fraction of the cost of what this model would normally cost. So I want to take care of it, and it had a few smudges on the lens when I got it because it was a display model. So I'm hoping to put the lens adapter on it, the 58 millimeter lens adapter, and put the UV filter on just to protect the lens, and just for extra protection. And if I ever want to put a filter on, I can put a filter on as well. And a cap. I really needed a cap because this camera didn't come with a cap, and like I said, I want to protect it and take care of it. So this adapter kit with the lens hood, a couple filters, the adapter, and the lens cover itself right here, and that case. I think it comes with a microfiber. Comes with a microfiber cleaning towel as well for cleaning your screen and stuff. I think it was like 20 bucks. I'm not sure. I'll probably put a screenshot of the item, or maybe put it in the description. So let's see if this fits and how this fits, because honestly I have no clue how this fits. It looks like there's hardly any threads on it or anything. It's plastic. So let's see how this goes. I know it goes on the lens. I don't think it goes that way, so it must go this way. Am I doing it right? I don't think it's supposed to thread. Oh, maybe it is. I don't know. Well, it seems to be going, so I'm just going to go ahead and thread it on there. I'm not going to go aggressively tight. So there it is. She's on there. Let's just make sure that everything still works. I don't see it interfering with anything. Turn it off. Okay, so I'm not sure if the lens hood fits on the adapter or the camera. Well, that answers that question. So there's a lens hood there. I know it's rubber, but still. I'm going to turn it on and see if it cuts the corners. Yeah, it does cut the corners big time. See the big circle? But if you zoom in, it doesn't matter. But when you're zoomed out, this is a wide angle lens, so it cuts the corners off. So if you're going to use the lens hood zoomed out, just fold this back into one of the other positions, and it still covers the lens quite a bit, and it still cuts the corners a little bit. You can see the black in the corners, but it's a 3 position, so it should be able to fold it back once more. Yep, there she goes. Now she's folded back once more, and it still shows a little bit in the corners. But if you zoom in like 3 centimeters, just a tiny bit, you can get rid of that. Or if you're using it for close-ups or something. I didn't order it for the lens hood. This is just a bonus for me. What I really wanted was the UV lens, just to cover the lens and the lens cap. So everything is fine without the lens hood and with the adapter, so I'll probably just leave it on there. And cap. .58mm, no name, spring loaded. Now I have a cap, fits the adapter. And this is what I really want, the UV filter to protect the lens. If anything happens to the camera, if it gets anything spilled on it or dropped, or eventually when you keep wiping the lens off, eventually you get scratches and smudges. And so if you're going to scratch or smudge anything, it might as well be replaceable. And this here is affordable and replaceable. It's like extra protection for your unit. You gotta have that nowadays. You gotta have extra protection for your unit nowadays. So I'm not. It looks like I'm just holding a ring because the glass is so crystal clear, the lens. But if you turn it on the right angle, you can see light reflections and stuff like that. So that is a glass lens. And I'm putting it on upside down. There we go. Now I've got the adapter on plus the UV. See, it says UV right there. Actually, I was actually right. Yeah, so that's the UV filter. It's basically it's just a piece of glass. so I'm going to use that to protect the lens itself, the actual camera lens. And hopefully this cap will go on over the lens, which is on the adapter, which is on the camera. So I'm going to have the camera, the adapter plate, the lens plate, and this cap as well. Does it fit? Does it work? Yes, it does. Holy, look at all those adapters. It's a whole bunch of adapters. So this is not a DSLR. This is not a removable lens camera, but you can add stuff like this to it, and you can get macro lenses. It's already got a really wide angle lens on it. That's why you can see the corners when I put the lens hood on. When I put the lens hood on. Yeah, anyway. That's why you can see the corners of the hood unless it's fully retracted, because this is a wide angle lens. And the amazing thing about it is it zooms in 65 times. This is the PowerShot SX60, and it's got a 65 times zoom, which is ridiculous. 65 times optical zoom, and it goes even further than that with digital zoom. So I think total, I can't remember, it's ridiculous how much you can zoom with this thing, but you don't really need an interchangeable lens when you've got a wide angle lens that zooms in 65 times. You got best of both worlds. So I don't think you really need any other lenses, but anyway, the lens doesn't change on this camera, which means it's not a DSLR, it's a bridge camera. So now I can put stuff on it like 58mm attachments, and I can put a lens cover on it over top of some of the attachments, such as these filters. And yeah, then I'll have an extra cleaning cloth. Also, lens hood for when you don't want those light flares and such coming in from angles and whatnot, or facing the light. And I believe this here is to tie the cap to the camera itself. I'm not sure, but it's a string of some sort. And that's about it for this Neewer 58mm lens adapter and accessories and filters kit.